Okay, so I am back at Castle Blood, well, heading toward there, and I am doing a paranormal investigation there. I am so excited because I've been to Castle Blood a million times, but never have been on a paranormal investigation. And this is by the group is called Whispering Souls Paranormal. Hope I got that right. If not, I'll put it in the caption. But yeah, I'm super excited. And I'll be filling you in on if we found anything. Okay, so I just got out of the ghost hunting event with Soul Whispers paranormal investigators, and yeah, it was cool. I loved it, but I'll give like a rundown when I get home. Okay, my review on the evening at Castle Blood with the Whispering Souls paranormal investigators. Now, a little background on them. Whispering Souls paranormal investigators are based out of Bethel Park in the Pittsburgh area of Pennsylvania, and they have conducted several investigations in the greater northwestern Pennsylvania area. They've been to Castle Blood a few times and have found activity every single time. And on this very cold spring night in May, they returned to Castle Blood for another investigation. Now, those of you that might be brand new to my channel, if you're not familiar with Castle Blood, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. Castle Blood is a haunted attraction in Monessen, Pennsylvania, and it is inside a 100 plus year old funeral home. So you can imagine all of the souls that have gone through that place, that building, throughout the years, throughout the decades, and throughout the past century. And they are a haunted attraction that specializes in a lot of kind of old school vampires. And that's basically a lot of, that's the basic main theme. However, they do have different themes each year for their haunted attraction. And they don't just stick to Halloween to give you a little bit of spooky fun throughout the year. So I will definitely recommend checking out Castle Blood. They are coming up on their Summerween event, and then it's on to their Halloween event. And sometimes they do have other small events as well, but they are a very long-running haunted attraction. Just kind of look back in my videos and my podcast episodes, and I have done several interviews with them, especially Ricky Dick, the owner, who's also known as Gravely Macabre. I've also interviewed recently Chris Handa, also known as Professor Scry, at the castle. And I would absolutely check them out. Check out their Summerween event if you can't wait till the Halloween season to get a little bit of Halloween fun going. But yes, but they do allow some paranormal investigators to come in too, just because they have seen some activity in there. Several of the cast members have. I've been to Castle Blood many, many times. Also, not only as a visitor, but also as one of their social media ambassadors. And I caught a couple of things too that I think are like, I've never sensed anything malevolent there, thankfully, which is good because the owners of Castle Blood, they're good people. And, of course, I think they are very respectful to the home and those that came before it and everything, but both those that inhabited it before them. And they restored it from basically just being, just like an empty shell of a building once the last owners passed on and their kids didn't want to take it on. But I definitely recommend checking them out. And now on to the investigation and how all that went. Now, this was my first time doing a paranormal investigation with the Whispering Souls Paranormal. And when we got there, they basically, what they did was they explained, how the evening was going to go down, how they conduct things, some of their equipment. We were also welcome to bring our own equipment as well, and as well as like a flashlight, because they do turn out at least most of the lights. So, we want to make sure that everybody can see where they're going. But they did divide us into groups, and my group went into the chapel room first, and I will say there was definitely, I will say, the EMF detectors were definitely going off. I mean, y'all use your discretion, but the EMF detectors were going off. The spirit box that I had, I mean, it was really fluctuating in temperature and activity. And they also use they use a lot of practical methods too, as far as their investigation goes, which I really appreciate, because I think those like dowsing rods and EMFs, and then flat flashlights and those little cat balls and everything, they use a lot of those to detect energies, which I appreciate that, because those have been pretty tried and true throughout the years. And you can't really fake too much with those. Now, I will say they do also use like those new, you can download, I think it's an app. It's not the Ghost Tube app. But it's one where it's supposed to catch you. You download it onto your computer, and it's software that's supposed to pick up voices. Now, I know some people are iffy about that, because sometimes, which I understand, sometimes stuff like that does run the risk, I think, of being corrupted. So I get where some skeptics are coming from on that one. But so yeah, Whispering Souls paranormal investigators, they are very professional. They use a combination of traditional and modern technology, and I thought Castle Blood was like the perfect place to do an investigation in. And it was a very cold, dreary night, so it was definitely giving some Halloween vibes there, which I thought was like a perfect backdrop, hence I brought my coat. So I brought my coat and a scarf, because yeah, I mean, it dropped down into the 30s, and and it does get cold, inside the castle, inside the building. So yeah, so it was like kind of like, yeah, like I said, kind of giving some Halloween vibes there. Plus, we had a full moon too. So that kind of served, as adding some ambiance to the whole backdrop as well. But yeah, stuff did happen there. Like I said, there were definitely, detectors going off. Dowsing rods were, also definitely seemed to be like communicating. And yeah, and there are a couple other things that happened, like a bang on the floor that couldn't really be explained. So yeah, but they're, like I said, they're Whispering Souls paranormal, very, very well done, and I had a good time. And like I said, it's always great to go back to Castle Blood. I always enjoy going there, and I always recommend everybody going there, and just kind of giving that place a try and letting them kind of give you some spooky fun. And of course, I can never leave Castle Blood without getting a little something from their gift shop to represent. So got a couple new t-shirts from Castle Blood. I got this horror hotel shirt. Very, very cool. I love the design. Definitely gives, just kind of retro horror. And then I got a shirt from one of their previous St. Patrick's Day event. Raven's Call. That was a theme from a couple of years ago, and they still had some shirts left from that. So I got those, and yeah, Raven's Call. I love ravens, love crows. I've been, just researching the Morrigan and all that. So yeah, but that's what I also got from the Castle Blood gift shop. So all right, so I hope you enjoyed that video. And yeah, have you ever been on a paranormal investigation, whether it was official, independent? There are a couple of haunted roads that I do plan to visit over these warmer months now. Hopefully, warmer months, because it's been kind of a cold spring so far. It's like the winter crone hasn't quite left, but yeah. But have you ever been on a paranormal investigation? And if so, did you experience anything? What did you think of it? And yeah, I'd love to hear about it. So all right, so that is all for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Be sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell for any notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, all right, so you stay fierce, stay safe, but of course, stay spooky.